looks like a labyrinth made of marble. It's the cathedral's main entrance. It's locked, but it can be opened from inside. I've never understood why you always have to be so uncomfy inside churches. An altar with a beautiful wooden box in the middle of it. And here it is. These should be Mary's robes. Maybe these will finally help me solve the mystery of Uncle Frank's death.
What would make someone violate the house of God in that way?
Father, I'm not a thief.
But it only takes a second to become one, Mr.
Danter. My name's Jonathan Danter.
Danter. Are you by any chance Frank's nephew?
I see my uncle was famous in Europe. It seems that everyone knew him. What have you to do with him?
I heard about Frank's death on the news. I'm really sorry. I'm Father Dominique, and I was a good friend to your Uncle Frank.
Did Frank ever mention me when talking to you?
I knew that the only person that Frank really loved was his nephew. But he also told me he had to renounce to meet him. Frank often talked with me of how difficult it was for him to never see you again. But he was also happy to know you in a safe place.
And the only way to protect me was to feign his death? Telling the little boy that his uncle, one of the most beloved of relatives he had, was dead?
He told me it was the only way to be sure that you wouldn't have been in danger.
Uncle Frank was a man full of ideas and resources. He surely could have found another way to protect me without having to lie to me and the entire world.
Maybe you're right. But I believe Frank's main reason for disappearing was to protect you from himself.
Protect me from himself?
Exactly. One of the worst fears Frank had was that you would have followed him. He did everything he could to keep you out of this world full of danger, treachery and betrayal. But alas, the ways of God are infinite, and here you are, trying to continue what Frank's death has left unfinished.
The only true memories I have of Uncle Frank are those short summers I spent with him in London when I was a child.
What a shame, my child. Frank was a really great man.
Yes, he surely must have been. So many years. Wasted. And now the only thing I've got is this pocket watch he left me a long time ago.
In those years that you call wasted, you became who you are now. And maybe they have drawn you near Frank more than he ever could have done. In your eyes, I see his strength, his wit. Don't worry, my child. Frank now watches over you more than ever before.
When did you and my uncle meet for the first time?
It was many years ago. I remember the days when Frank lived here as if it was yesterday. We immediately became good friends. And like all good friends, we love to discuss. But please tell me, my child, what brings you here?
Uncle Frank knew something extremely important, and someone who discovered this secret wants to know everything about it. This murderer is killing everyone who could have any information about this story, and I'm not even sure of knowing what they're looking for. A corrupted policeman has killed 2 of his colleagues in London and has charged me for the murders. He has also sold the names of Frank and all his collaborators to some crazy psychotic assassin. That maniac is killing them, all of them. The only chance for me and my friend is to find out the secret Frank had discovered. Then, if we're lucky, maybe we find a way to get rid of all this mess.
I heard some disturbing news about mysterious deaths, but I really didn't imagine this problem was so extended. Because of my great friendship with Frank, I'll help you in every way I can. Now tell me, child, why were you looking for that relic?
I've got evidence that proves that this relic could be related to Frank's investigations. I found a piece of Mary's robes in Frank's flat.
If Frank has torn away a piece of Mary's robe, all this story must be really important. I'm sorry, my child, but the relic we have here isn't original. It's just a copy. Not many people know that during the terrible fire in the town in 1194, the Knights Templars took the original and hid it in a very secret place.
And do you know where this place is?
I know it's in Rome, with hundreds of other original relics, but I don't know precisely where it's kept. I can only tell you that many ancient books tell the story of a Knights Templar group that took it and traditionally hid it in a secret place that only the most wise and courageous men could enter.
Are you in charge here?
No, not really. Actually, the person who's in charge here lives on the higher floors. But if we want to talk earthly, yes, I'm in charge here, though only spiritually.
Are there many cathedrals named Notre Dame, like the famous one in Paris?
Actually, it's a quite common mistake to think that there's only one Notre Dame. Notre Dame are simply the French words for Our Lady, and they obviously refer to the Virgin Mary. As you can imagine, there are a lot of monuments and buildings around the world that have been built to honor Mary, and many of them have their names accompanied by the words Notre Dame, especially in France.
Father, have you ever heard of the Imago Sanctissimus? Some people say it holds the meaning of life.
Many years have passed since the last time I heard that name, and I noticed that nothing has changed. Listen, my child. The meaning of life cannot be found in a relic or in a monument. The meaning of life is everywhere, around us, in trees, in animals, in the eyes of those near you. I'm old, probably older than you think, and I've seen many people throwing away their lives, searching for the meaning of life. Poor people who never managed to understand that the meaning of life is in front of every one of us. You only need to stop a second, open your eyes, and look around you to understand what the true meaning of life is.
What's that labyrinth I saw on the floor in the center of the cathedral?
Many intellectuals have passed years studying that labyrinth. But ironically, they lost themselves in there. In the center of the labyrinth, you can see a rose. It's a symbol that can be found in many cathedrals. It symbolizes the constellation Virgo. And as you may know, the name Virgo comes from Latin and means virgin. But what's most special about this labyrinth is that every 15th of August, the day when we celebrate Mary, a sun ray enters the cathedral through the rose window that represents the Virgin Mary and ends precisely on the rose on the floor.
Maybe next year I'll be here for the 15th of August then.
It would be useless. Because of the precession of the equinoxes, nowadays the sun ray passes through the rose window on the 20th of August.
It's really simply incredible what human intellect can do.
More than intellect. I'd call it passion and devotion to God. Anyway, if you're interested in these subjects, you'll be happy to know that nearly a century ago, a famous Egyptologist named Shvala de Lubish studied the proportions of the labyrinth and found out that the proportions are exactly the same as the ones of the most complex ancient Egyptian temples. It seems that inside this labyrinth, secrets of an ancient Egyptian sect could be hidden too. One thing is for sure. The Templars knew how to inculcate fear and curiosity to mankind.
Thank you, Father. Your words have been wise and encouraging, especially in this difficult moment. I really have to go now. It was a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for all your help. If you find some tomato sauce on one of the columns outside of the cathedral, please don't be cross.
Wait, where are you going?
Strange group of people. I didn't think flower power still existed. Well, I'm glad they were kind enough to suggest I go to the Vatican museums first. And this map and guide to the monuments they gave me will be useful here in Rome. I haven't been to Italy for ages. Last night's trap in Chartres must have been set by Twinings, but I'll be safe here until I find out that I'm in Italy. I wonder where Joe is now. It's a map of Rome, a little present from those funny hippies. This guide is full of information about all the monuments in Rome. Another present from those nice hippies. Not many know that this obelisk is authentic, and it is from ancient Egypt, from around the 12th century BC.